The relationship between the Knights Templar and Jews is a complex and fascinating topic, moving between historical fact, economic reality, and speculative theory. While the Crusaders in general were often hostile towards Jewish communities, the Templars' relationship was unique and, in many cases, tolerant and even protective. While not formal allies, the Templars and the Jews occupied adjacent spheres in medieval Europe, both powerful, both often distrusted by church and crown, and both accused of secret knowledge, hidden wealth, and underground networks. Here's a breakdown of what was between them, including known facts, stories, and the mysteries and secrets that surround them. Historical facts and economic relations. Financial cooperation. One of the most significant aspects of their relationship was financial. While Christians were generally prohibited from charging interest on loans, an act known as usury, Jews were not. This made Jewish people crucial to the medieval economy, particularly for large-scale financial transactions. The Templars, who grew to become a powerful banking institution, had a strong commercial interest and therefore had no desire to antagonize Jewish financiers. Their network of preceptories across Europe and the Holy Land made them a kind of international bank, and it's highly probable they did business with Jewish moneylenders. This is seen as a key reason for their cooperative stance. Before the Templars rose as Europe's premier financial power, Jewish communities dominated medieval money lending, since Christians were prohibited from charging interest, usury. When the Templars began operating as an early form of international bank, offering letters of credit and safekeeping for wealth across Europe and the Holy Land, they essentially took over the role Jews had long filled. There is speculation, especially in more conspiratorial literature, that early Templar financial models were influenced by Jewish banking techniques, possibly through cooperation or observation during the Crusades or in Iberia and Provence. Protection of communities. In some instances, the Templars provided protection to Jewish communities. A notable example is in Tomar, Portugal, a city that was a major Templar stronghold. For centuries, Jewish families lived there and were under the protection of the local Templars. This relationship, however, tragically ended with the rise of the Inquisition after the Templars were suppressed. The synagogue in Tomar was even turned into a prison for Jewish families, many of whom were later executed as heretics. Common enemies, church suspicion, and royal greed. Both Jews and Templars were seen as outside powers by monarchs and clerics. Jews due to religion, Templars due to independence and wealth. Philip IV of France, who destroyed the Templars in 1307, had previously expelled the Jews from France in 1306, seizing their assets. In both cases, financial motives and state debt played a major role. Philip owed money to both groups and liquidated them as a solution. Distinct from other Crusader groups, it's important to remember that the Templars were a distinct military order. While other Crusader armies engaged in violent massacres of Jewish communities in Europe during the First Crusade, the Rhineland massacres, the Templars' mission was to protect pilgrims and defend the Holy Land, not to persecute local populations. They often acted independently and negotiated with both Muslim and Jewish rulers, further setting them apart from other crusading forces. Mysteries and unproven theories. The mysteries and secrets surrounding the Knights Templar often involved their alleged connection to Judaism, particularly in their time in Jerusalem. The treasure of Solomon's Temple. The most persistent and well-known theory is that the original 9 Knights Templar were not in Jerusalem solely to protect pilgrims. Instead, they were on a secret mission to excavate something under the Temple Mount. Their headquarters was in a wing of the royal palace located on the site of the former Temple of Solomon. The theory suggests they were searching for and found ancient Jewish treasures, relics, or documents, such as the Ark of the Covenant, the Holy Grail, or other treasures from the First or Second Temple. The fact that the initial 9 knights spent 9 years in Jerusalem with very few recruits adds to the mystery, fueling speculation about what they were really doing. Legends have long claimed that the Templars possessed esoteric knowledge, including Hebrew mysticism, Kabbalah, ancient relics, or even fragments of the Temple of Solomon. The Templars' very name, Knights of the Temple, tied them to Solomon's Temple in Jerusalem, a site of supreme importance in Jewish tradition. Some stories say the Templars found the Ark or its remnants under the Temple Mount during their stay in Jerusalem, possibly with the help of local Jewish informants or texts. These relics, whether real or myth, became part of the Templar mystique and later inspired Freemasonic myths. The Rex Deus theory, a more modern and speculative theory put forward by historians like Christopher Knight and Tim Wallace Murphy, is that the Templars were actually descendants of Jewish elders who fled the Holy Land after the Roman invasion in 70 CE. These elders, they claim, hid their treasures and sacred Essen and Kabbalistic scrolls. For centuries, the secret locations of these items were passed down through a group of European noble families known as the Rex Deus or Star families. According to this theory, the Knights Templar were founded by members of these families with the dual goal of defending the Holy Land and recovering their family's lost treasure. The connection to Kabbalah. Some theories link the Templars to the Jewish mystical tradition of Kabbalah. It is speculated that the Templars discovered ancient Kabbalistic texts or esoteric knowledge during their time in Jerusalem. This could explain their alleged rejection of certain Christian doctrines and their adoption of mystical symbols and beliefs. This theory is largely based on the idea that the Templars became a Gnostic order, assimilating secret knowledge that was seen as heretical by the Catholic Church. During the Templars' time in the Holy Land, Kabbalistic ideas were emerging in Jewish circles in Provence and Spain. Some historians and esoteric writers speculate that the Templars were initiated into mystical concepts like the Sephirot, Gematria, or divine emanations. There is no hard proof, but it is notable that later Templar-influenced societies, like the Freemasons, showed fascination with Hebrew symbols, letters, and temple lore. Alchemical and symbolic syncretism. Templar crosses, Masonic symbols, and Kabbalistic diagrams like the Tree of Life began to blend in the Renaissance, creating a syncretic esoteric language. There's even speculation that Jewish exiles and Templar fugitives shared alchemical and astrological knowledge preserved in secret manuscripts. Some Hebrew-lettered charms, talismans, and medallions have been attributed, likely falsely, to the Templars. Stories and unknown facts. A story from Portugal. A lesser-known story from Portugal illustrates the complex reality of the time. During the Inquisition, Jewish families in the Trás-os-Montes region would make a sausage called alheira, from non-pork ingredients, and hang it up in their homes. This was to fool Inquisition officials who expected to see pork sausages in every Christian household and to avoid suspicion. This story, while not directly involving the Templars, highlights the environment of persecution that the Templars' earlier tolerance had helped to prevent. Refuge and hidden networks after the fall. After the Templars were persecuted and disbanded in the early 14th century, rumors persist that surviving knights found protection among Jewish communities, particularly in Iberia and the Balkans. In Portugal, where the Templars reformed under a new name, Order of Christ, there were strong Jewish communities, and some covert alliances may have formed, particularly as both faced persecution during the Inquisition. In Spain and Portugal, both Jews and Templars were either expelled or forced into secrecy. Jews via the Alhambra Decree, 1492, Templars via dissolution. Some crypto-Jews, conversos, and ex-Templars may have formed secret societies or mutual aid networks, hiding knowledge, wealth, and identities. There are even folkloric tales, especially in Portugal, of Templars and Marranos cooperating to preserve ancient scrolls, relics, or sacred wisdom from destruction. The blood libel myth. The blood libel was a false accusation that Jews ritually murdered Christian children. This myth led to intense persecution and violence against Jewish communities. The Knights Templar, however, were not known to have been involved in spreading or acting on this slander. This fact, while seemingly small, underscores their pragmatic and at times more tolerant approach compared to the broader, often deeply anti-Semitic atmosphere of medieval Europe. In summary, the relationship between the Templars and Jews was far from the one-dimensional hostility often associated with the Crusades. While based on the practicalities of medieval commerce and the need for financial stability, it also opens the door to intriguing, albeit unproven, theories about shared secrets, common ancestry, and a quest for hidden knowledge that continues to capture the imagination today. Though hard historical proof of deep collaboration is thin, esoteric traditions, oral legends, and mysterious coincidences continue to suggest that their paths may have intertwined in secret, leaving behind shadows in history and symbols in stone.